This is Amos 1 and 11. And it says, Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and kept his wrath forever. I like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostle elders, a great millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's the brother Shati from the Chicago camp coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. And I think I'm going to entitle this, You Want Us to Let It Go, but we can't let it go because you won't let it go. And what do I mean by that? As I read in this Amos 1 and 11, it's that anger that did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Because the 2 videos that you're about to watch, you're going to see Bad Uncle Esau in his true nature and form. All right. He's going to display his real behavior, the behavior that he claims that he does not possess, or it's not all of them. It's not all of us. It's just a few people. We don't all think like that. So, as Elder Malcolm in our camp says, without further ado, let's let these 2 videos play.
Team had to change hotels. The University of Utah's women's basketball team had to change hotels after being on the receiving end of racist, verbal, and physical threats following their loss to Gonzaga on March 25th. So what exactly happened? According to accounts from head coach Lynn Roberts, who is white, and Utah Deputy Athletics Director Sharmel Green, who is black, the girls' basketball team, cheerleaders, and members of the band were walking from their NCAA-chosen hotel to a nearby restaurant for dinner when a white truck pulled up, revved its engine, and yelled the N-word at the group before driving off. Now, according to the head coach, for our players and staff to not feel safe in an NCAA tournament environment, that's messed up. The team was staying in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, 35 minutes south and over the state line. The area has a well-known history of white nationalism, bigotry, and racist violence. Unfortunately.
Now, let me pause as I say, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho is the KKK capital of Idaho. We just going to keep it real here. All right. I had a roommate that I won't say what level of schooling that was, but I did have a roommate who was from this place, and he told me just flat out, look, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho is the KKK capital of Idaho. So, just so we put that in perspective, let's continue.
This is a pattern when it comes to the National Collegiate Athletic Association's treatment of student athletes. As reporter Frankie de la Cretas wrote in a recent op-ed for Teen Vogue, it's one the organization should be prepared to address. Why the NCAA allowed student athletes, many of whom are student of color, in 2023 only 32% of NCAA Division I women's basketball players identified as white or queer or both to be sent to Coeur d'Alene without protections in place is anyone's guess. Frankie argues that this latest incident is just the most recent in a pattern of long-standing disregard when it comes to ensuring the well-being and safety of marginalized student athletes. The university.
All right, and so I'll put this on pause and get another video. Hold up one moment. All right, here's the other video.
Girls basketball team's taking legal action against the school after she was recently fired. Sarah Shopper Ramirez had been the coach since 2020. Last year, she led the Miners to their first championship since 2003, going 26-1. Less than a month later, she was out, claiming she was let go for not adhering to a warning from school officials to not give minority students more playing time than the white students. That claim backed up by a recording of a conversation Shopper Ramirez says she had with the school's president and athletic director.
A disproportionate amount of your kids are financial aid kids. They're probably, your team in football are probably our 2 most diverse teams. Mm-hmm. And so that's going to create some issues in our parent community. We've got to be super intentional about not supporting or creating a narrative where it looks like, oh, well, we're paying to bring in these brown kids to come and win us basketball games, and then the white kids don't get to play.
Shopper Ramirez says that conversation did not change how she chose her lineup, which she said was always based on earning your time. Now she's taking legal action, claiming wrongful termination.
What they were asking me to goes against my moral code and my ethical code. So yes, we are pressing charges against Minogue. Holding them accountable is basically it. You can't ask your coaches and your staff and your teachers to teach or coach with these underlining conditions. It's not right.
Last month, President Matt Shambari announced he was taking an unpaid leave of absence. In his statement, he said he was guilty of using poor choice of words, but insists he always acted in service of the school.
Bishop Minogue's interim administrator, Father Chuck Durante, released a statement on Chopra Ramirez's claim, saying in part, quote, an independent investigation is now being conducted into the allegations that were made publicly made about this matter. Though these allegations were made publicly, rest assured, the school values student, family, and employee privacy. We will respect those confidentiality principles throughout the investigation. You can read more about this story at colotv.com.
Former head coach for Bishop.
So, from these two videos, you can see what I was talking about. That sometimes underhanded, and then in some cases, blatant racism, that Edomite supremacy mindset. Okay, you got a girls basketball team staying in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, KKK capital, which the people in the NCAA, they probably should have did a little bit more research on that, but I'll give them a slight benefit of a doubt if they're trying to find discounts. And if they genuinely did not know that, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But nonetheless, okay, the point of the matter is, Jake is in a situation where we are constantly talking about how we are oppressed, undervalued, disenfranchised, and completely destroyed. And it seems that everybody has the advantage over us, especially the so-called white man, Bad Uncle Esau. Now, according to Bad Uncle Esau, this is just a figment of our imagination. This cannot possibly be the case on how we have designed laws that make sure that everybody gets a equal and free opportunities to succeed like all other people. But yet, every time you turn around, their horns and that devil mindset is it's saturated in every single thing that they do. You have a situation where in the Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, you just had blatant racist devils. Niggers, spics, wetbacks, tree monkeys, Indians. You know, they was just flat out with it. And then you have a situation where you have a coach that's you have a principal that's telling a coach that we have to make an intentional effort to make sure that we're not so-called showing favoritism to our parent people. Now, I saw another video where it said the majority of the population of that basketball school is about 72% Edomites. And they only have two teams, her team and football, that have minorities. Oh, so I get it. I get what you're saying. You want to protect your Edomite fragility by telling this coach that instead of putting in the hard fucking work like the Jakes do to make sure that they're the best people that they can possibly be for this woman and the team, not for themselves, for the team, Instead of having your children bust their ass and put in the time to make sure that they can be the best players that they can be for the team, you rather have this weak, no ball having principal tell the coach to basically not play Jake and pretty much let the Edomites play. But wait a minute. I thought it was all about fair and equal. I thought if everybody pulled themselves up by the bootstraps and put in the work, everything should be, if all things are so-called considered fair and equal, these Edomites should be playing. This is how you know this devil is completely full of shit. And it's all about Edomite supremacy. It's all about racism. And it's always going to be about racism. Because this is the argument that many Edomites have. Oh, you so-called black Latino, you always want to throw the race card, the race card, the race card. Well, the reason why we catching the race card is because you keep throwing it. It would be great to let all this hatred go and just continue with life and try to raise our families to the best of our ability without having to worry about if a cop's going to pull them over, or if he's going to be the last hired, first fired, or if he's going to be the victim of racial profile. It would be great to have a beautiful fucking life without having to go through that. But no, we can't, because you have made sure that you have intertwined and completely saturated every aspect of society with Edomite supremacy. And we're going to go back and read that Amos 1:11 again. It says, thus saith Yahweh. Let me slow down. For 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword. Because that's your MO. See, this is how you uphold your Edomite supremacy, your draconian law, by your sword that you were blessed with. All you have to do is go back to, I believe, Genesis, the 27th chapter. Okay? Where Isaac bestowed the blessing upon his 2 sons, Jacob and Esau. It says, and did cast off all pity, meaning you don't give a fuck. Excuse my language in this lesson. And his anger did tear perpetually, meaning without a break. And you know what? Just to make sure that we are on point with that definition, Amos 1:11.
Strong's H 5703. Add.
It says perpetuity, forever, continuing future, ancient of times past, forever of a future time, of continuous existence. That means without a break. You will keep it from the old time to the modern time. And if time continued 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years under this devil's rule, you would still keep that same hatred with the same intensity. The same intensity. So yeah. And his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. This is why we can't let it go. We cannot supposedly stop throwing the race card. We cannot stop saying things are about racism when every time we turn around, it's all about Edomite supremacy. This is what it's all about. You can't go around and tell us that we're paranoid. You can't go around and tell us that we're just seeing things when every time we turn on the news, we see this. Every time we turn on the news, there's some whistleblower. There's somebody coming out the woodworks. There's some sneaky tape that somebody has been able to bring forth to the light, showing your wickedness. Because as much as you try to hide it, you still get exposed. Because as the scripture says, Second Corinthians 11 and 14, and it says, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. All right? Meaning that you devils will try to portray yourselves as the beacon of all goodness and righteousness and all moral character. But in all actuality, you are the wicked. According to Job 9:24, Malachi 1st chapter 3 and 4. You are the wicked, but you use the disguise of so-called moral uprightness while you hide your wickedness. You're as the scripture says, is it this one that I want? Isaiah 29 and 15. It says, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from Yahweh. You see how that principal had a secret meeting with the coach just to tell her to play the Edomite children. But he didn't know that bitch had him on the sneaky tape. Nah, I'm sorry about that. Not bitch. That woman. Because she seems like she has some character about herself. I take that back. I'm very sorry. See, this principal didn't know that woman had the sneaky tape on him. And now he got put on blast. Because you better believe this principal is not doing this out of his own. Let me put it this way. This principal is not. He did not put this into action solely just for himself. You better believe that there were a lot of people who voiced some concerns to either him or some people above him to go talk to this woman to ask her, why is she not playing their children? Or can she stop utilizing Jake? Because even principals have people that they have to be accountable for. I guarantee you that these might be some folks whose names are on plaques who have definitely dedicated some funds to make sure that that school has an abundance of resources. Let's put it that way. It says, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from Yahweh, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us? And who knoweth us? You got these devils working every second of the day to devise some type of crafty counsel, thinking that they not gonna get popped off. And the messed up thing is these devils are so damn stupid, they don't realize the world has figured you out. All right? You guys have been fully exposed. It would behoove you all to just shut the hell up. Because now it's getting to the point where you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what camera is going to be there. You don't know who's going to be audio recording you, because you guys' most intimate thoughts are being put on blast. And now we're in the age of the internet, of social media, where just about all information can be seen by a mass group of people within seconds. You guys are through. And speaking of being through, this is why when Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai comes back, don't beg for mercy. First and foremost, as the scripture said, you've shown no mercy. But don't beg for mercy. Because you all know very well what you have been doing. This is why when we read in that Amos 1:11, it's funny how I came back full circle. It says, thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof. And what is the ultimate punishment of bad Uncle Esau? Well, I'm glad you asked. And I don't give a shit if you didn't ask. Let's read what the ultimate punishment for bad Uncle Esau is. Obadiah 1:17. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. Meaning that, hey, there's going to come a time where we're not going to be under this cruel dictatorship of worldwide draconianism, where everywhere we turn around, as I mentioned before, we're getting encountered and beat down by a system that every aspect of life has been completely saturated by Edomite supremacy, thus making sure that the majority of the Jakes do not succeed, and the ones that do so-called succeed are going to have a very hard time maintaining what they have, or they're going to catch the flux trying to retain it. There's going to come a time where we will not have to endure that type of hardship. And it says, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. So that means everything you've accumulated is going to be ours, which in actuality it always has been ours. However, it's going to be ours to reclaim and put it to the use where it's supposed to be. And it says, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh hath spoken. And that's your ultimate punishment, bad Uncle Esau, because you have been a pain in our ass since the beginning. You've kept your wrath perpetually, continually. You've cast off all pity. You've taken our name. You've taken our heritage. You've taken our land. You've taken everything we can possibly have. You've manipulated it and you've turned it against us. You've perversed everything that the Lord made righteous. And now we are living in the day and time where the Lord's coming for that ass. You got to pay the tab. Don't ask for mercy. Don't ask for the Lord to not hold it against you. Don't tell the Lord about don't play the race card. Because you've been doing it the whole time. Don't tell the Lord to let it go. Because seeing as you couldn't let it go, the Lord ain't going to let it go. So this is going on a little bit longer than what I expected it to be. But nonetheless, I hope you all were edified. Till the next time, we're going to say shalom.